Soundscapes. That's all I could think of when I think of King Krule. He always manages to mix jazzy, alt-rock sounds with these moody, hip-hop inspired drum beats and bass lines. And he always makes it seem to work, all the while sounding like he's both angry and bored with his vocals. Opening with Cellular was a pretty good choice, although me personally I would have opened with Alone Omen 3 so you can kinda get what the album would mostly be about on your initial listen, but that's just me. With a very fat bass opening the song, airy vocals and keys that give it this spacey feeling, and vocals that feel alien almost. Yeah, this is a King Krule album, alright. Super Mache is a sparse, kinda empty sounding track. Mostly bass with some drums that have a nice reggae reverb effect on them that sounds sick, and a guitar that drones on in the background while making some random noises, along with Archie's signature vocals of both whisper, half singing / angry shouting, with some reverb on that as well. Stoned Again is exactly that, like you're just stoned listening to some music to space out and chill to. With a fuzzy driven bass and funky drumline with the bass kick riding the eclectic soundscape around it, the guitar drone on here makes this one an eerie but strangely alternative punkish sounding track, especially with the screaming half-sung lyrics by Archie. Comet Face is the darkest sounding track on here for sure. The mishmash of bass and guitar parts playing what I can only think of to say is some Halloweeny / doomy riffs with random voices in the background. And some sax thrown in randomly as well in the background. Some more screaming as well. Can't really say I like this track, but I do like the dark, brooding feeling it has all the way through. The Dream is a short but nice sounding track that feels as short and nice as a beautiful dream you have. That just ends short of the best part of it, if that makes any sense. Nice riffage from the guitar near the ending to give it that weird dreamlike feeling as well. Perfecto Miserable feels like a song about trying to tell that special someone that they mean the world to you, but they won't listen. Or they're somewhere else entirely and you're waiting for them, feeling lost and confused without them. The lyrics are pretty basic, just him saying that she's his everything and without her being left alone feels damaging and scary. I do like the fuzz-drenched guitar in the background, complementing the softer, jangly guitar in the front of the song. And the lyrics, while basic, make this song feel great to listen to when your headphones are in, and you're just lost in thought. Alone Omen 3 has a nice drumline that is both chill and funky to listen to, being vibed over by a nice guitar line and Archie's half-sung, half-spoken vocals. The bass kicks in hard later on near the ending portion, and the guitar goes on a nice sounding barrage of random notes and flourishes that finish the song on a pretty nice high note, at least to me. Slinky is another sparse song, mostly vocals and guitar playing along, with some keys and sax mixed into the background to add some spacious, otherworldly feeling to the song. Toward the end of the track it changes a bit when the drums kick in for a short while, giving it some manic energy that feels like a short burst of paranoia and anger. Pretty cool track, I must say. Airport Antenatal Airplane is a chill-ass drum-led track, with subtle bass and a lo-fi feel with the random vocal samples that come in here and there. Kinda reminds me of the beginning of Breathe from Telepop Music, if I'm honest. It's just those breathy vocal samples making the atmospheric sounding track that much more. Don't Let the Dragon Drag On is the trippiest song on this whole thing. Feels like a drug-induced dream that's moving slow and vibrant, kinda like an acid trip. Slowed, almost slurred-like vocals from Archie, drums, bass, and guitar playing slow and funky-like, with keys playing these ethereal-feeling single-held notes in the background to further the acid, dreamlike state the song sounds like. Definitely a song to put on with the lights low, a joint or whiskey in your hand, looking out the window and contemplating shit while the world outside moves around you. Theme for the Cross opens with a saxophone playing a repeating, somber-sounding line while keys play an ambient piece in the background, juxtaposing it rather nicely. It then goes into a straight, jazzy middle that feels like something that would probably play in Cowboy Bebop if I'm being honest. I could imagine Spike Spiegel walking around with it playing in the background. Then the ending portion happens. The sax just goes off on its own while the piano slowly starts and stops its repetitive riff. Pretty ambient and shit. I like it. Underclass has some sick sounding guitar and saxophone flourishes that ride a kinda hip-hoppy, jazzy beat. It's another great vibey track that's kinda hard to talk about. If anything, it reminds me of something I'd find on one of those lo-fi hip-hop live stream things on YouTube, but with a jazzy influence and flair. So yeah, almost exactly like what I'd find on there. I like this one a lot as well though. Energy Fleets sounds like energy being sucked out slowly, but also flowing at the same time. I don't know what else to say. It sounds like both depression but also hopefulness. The guitar plays this riff that has this happy but also sad notes in it, and the vocals sound like Archie's wondering aloud about his life and shit. I think the guitar is what makes it hard to talk about. I don't know, just listen to it. It's a Pretty interesting track. Please Complete Thee is an abstract feeling, sparse, and bare bones finale that feels like loneliness and darkness made a song. Almost no instrumentation except for the sparse keys, guitar, and ambient noises all throughout 2/3 of the track, until the ending portion when the guitar and keys start to build into this crescendo of sound that sounds like if light and hopefulness pierced into the loneliness and dark abyss that Archie felt. Pretty cool. So what do I think of Man Alive? Gotta say, coming from the Ooze, which was released about 2 years ago plus a couple of months, this album feels more, I don't know, subdued and raw, if that makes sense. The Ooze had a lot of jazzy songs mixed in with some random rock and punkish styled songs here and there, but here it sounds like he went for a more subdued and nuanced approach. Granted, it's been a while since I listened to the Ooze in its entirety, but I remember liking a lot of the jazzy alt-rock songs on there like Biscuit Town, Check One, Dumb Surfer, Sublinary, The Rocking Emergency Blimp. You get the point. But these songs on this album sounded like they flowed more into each other and fit together more nicely than the Ooze. The first half of this album feels more alt-rocky than the later half, which morphs into this more atmospheric, moody, and bleak sounding finale that felt perfect for this album. This is an album you definitely need to listen to with some headphones on, or with a nice ass stereo system, because there's so much going on in the backgrounds and instrumentations on these individual tracks that you need it. It's kinda hard to tell someone to listen to an artist that's as varied but still instantly recognizable like King Krule. If you like jazzy instrumentation with abstract sounding lyrics and moods, then you might enjoy King Krule. But if you're looking for straight alt-rock and hard-hitting riffs that you could jam out with your friends loud as shit, then this ain't the album or music for you. This album, at least to me, has music you put on in the background while you start to daydream or think about past relationships or current ones, and start to feel depressed or hopeful. It's like music that you could walk to down the street or in a crowded place, listening to the lyrics and feeling the mood and meaning in them, whatever you may interpret them to be. So, all in all, it's doomer music. Nah, I'm just joking. I give this album a 7 out of 10. Some really interesting songs and ideas with nice instrumentation and atmospheric sounding production and mood. The vocals might get a bit grating to people who aren't yet familiar with how Archie Marshall sings and flex on songs. The kind of samey guitar riffs and chords he plays on almost all of his songs can get a little bit annoying. And the jazzy blues influence on most, if not all, of King Krule's stuff ain't for everyone. But if you enjoy soundscapes, jazz fusion sounds, and a blending of styles not usually heard in rock music today, especially with the mainstream bullshit, this album's for you. This album ain't a bad one, at least to me, but if you really want to get into King Krule and it's your first time listening to him, I suggest starting with his first album, then work your way up to this one, because his earlier work is vastly different to where he is now, musically at least. There's more alt-rock and trip-hop influences in his early work, especially his debut. Also, if you love hip-hop and trip-hop beats, then give a listen to his album A New Place to Drown, his second album. It's really nice with the hip-hop instrumentals and shit. So thanks for watching, stay safe, and as always, peace.